Have the headset turned on. Hello.
What's up, fellas?
What's going on?
Hello. We're not live yet?
Not yet. Just a few minutes.
I didn't say anything because I wasn't sure. Do you go off the stream, or do you go off, like, I have iRacing pulled up the other side here.
So
better do it that way.
what I'm sharing in Discord is what's going out. So as we're saying it, it's going out when it's being seen on my screen. A lot of times, especially Super Speedways, if you want to watch wherever I'm not watching, or vice versa, you can kind of catch some of the action and steer me around. Because I'm like completely opposite of most producers. I listen to the commentary and I have them kind of steer me, usually.
Yeah, because I believe there's a delay to the onto like the stream on here on Discord, right?
Not by much. It's milliseconds.
Okay. Who are you on here right now on the screen? 013. Collison? Yeah. That's pretty close.
Must be Collison.
I know who that is.
He is an original Canadian guy.
Ontario racer.
Yes.
A Canadian?
Make 3.
Nope. I'm in jail.
Make 2.5. C13 on the board, Jeff. You running, or are you hanging up here? What are you doing?
Both. I'll be in in race commentary as needed.
Okay, that'll work.
I didn't know Brent was in here, and I told people I'd be in here, so I figured, what the hell.
Yeah, no, that works.
They're waiting for Mario Ercolani. Looks like he just got in his driveway.
Nice.
Yeah, we got a couple new faces because we got Kyle Bergholder in too now also.
That's a hefty field there. 28 trucks, 29 once Mario gets in there. I figure I'll come in, I'll introduce the show, and then basically just kind of pass it off to you guys. Brent and Aaron, if you guys want to go back and forth, bring Jeff in, as needed. I don't know how you feel under green or anything like that. I know some guys are kind of squirrely like that, but
You might pull a Tim Richmond.
I will try not to pull a Dick Johnson, but I will. Once I lose the draft, it'll be easier.
Right, that'll work.
Johnson.
Aussie racer.
Yeah.
He swore during a live
yes.
broadcast.
I'll explain the context on the broadcast if you want.
Yeah, we've had that happen a time before.
Yeah, so one thing that I would like I could really contribute was just the mindset behind the strategy and like where we is in the pit sequence and how that's going to play out in the long term.
Yeah, no, that works absolutely. Because I mean, it's super speedways. You run out of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, I usually do because that's all I did. 15 years. So it's like, all right, everything's done by lap 15. Now what are we doing?
Right.
I've run the DoorDash ad 3 times.
Playing chess, waiting for the opportunity to play Russian roulette.
Yeah, right.
Paul?
Yes.
I'm being told we're hot.
Wait. We are. not hot anymore. Watch this. Mute. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to VidaneTV. It is NEP night in America and even parts of Canada. Showtime Paul Strickland Jr. up here in the broadcast booth, and I am not alone. As always, beside me on Thursday nights, the voice of the NEP series, Aaron Creed. Aaron, how are we feeling tonight, brother?
We're feeling pretty good. I'm ready to go after last week's intense race. Now we're on the restrictor plate track at Talladega. Anything can happen.
Yeah, a little bit of a wild card getting into the NEP championship season as we take a peek at the starting grid. I believe Ryan Messer may very well have gotten me another 3 points in net bets with that poll. Reggie Parent on the outside. And Aaron, you and I aren't alone up here in the booth. We had, I guess we can call it a little bit of fisticuffs. And, well, Brent had to take the week off from driving the old 26 Tundra. So Brent's going to come up here and join us in the booth. Brent Roy, how are we feeling tonight?
Not too bad, guys. Kind of sucks not being on the track, but you know, it's one of my favorite tracks. Plate racing is a lot of fun, but it is what it is, and you know, at the end of the day, you got to kind of defend your home turf a little bit. So we're up here sitting this one out, but it should be a pretty good show for everybody tonight.
65 laps on the docket here for the Hopkins Fab 65 at the virtual Talladega Super Speedway. We've even got a little in-truck, I guess, behind-the-scenes truck. There's a lot of different ways you can call it. I'm looking through the starting lineup and wondering where all the paint schemes are. Trading Paints is doing Trading Paints things as it happens on live TV. We got everything else working, but in any sense, got some booth-to-truck communication with Jeffrey Brown. Jeff Brown in the 29 truck. Jeff, how are we doing tonight?
Not bad. I kind of like Brent here. I personally don't love plate racing, but it's my best chance every year to pull off a top 10. So here we are. You know, I mean, you have to try to avoid the chaos, catch the pit break right, stay on lead lap. If you can do all that, you might actually come away with a top 10. You might end up roof first of the fence.
Massive field here this evening, approaching 30 trucks. May have even broken that 30 truck marker. As you can see, the lights are off in the iRacing pace truck. Everybody lined up 2 by 2 all the way through, and well, you can see as we go through the paint schemes, we've got like half of them. So I don't know what the heck that is. We'll have to get that sorted
Got some new
out.
names in the field tonight too. We've got some new names in the field tonight. We'll talk about that once we get back under green.
Yeah, a handful of new names here, and this field keeps getting bigger and bigger as we get closer and closer to the end of Season 7, and, well, really penciling in at the beginning of Season 8. Pace cars down in the safety of pit road. They're lined up 2 by 2 all the way through, and everybody knows that start-finish line here at Talladega is all the way down here. It looks like we got all the paint schemes. How about that? Waiting for Barney and the green flag to let them know it is time to go. We are green flag racing here for the Hopkins Fabrication 65 at the virtual Talladega Speedway.
Yeah, we certainly do have them all on the track, except Cody. I think his is a little blank once again, but we'll talk about him. We'll know who he is for sure as Ryan Messer gets out to the front, and all he has to do tonight is lead 11 laps, and he'll be the third driver in NEP history to lead 1,000 career laps, and Ryan Messer has been on a tear lately, not just with these poles won, but with races won. Came up a bit short last week with a bit of a different pit strategy. There we see Regan Parent was back last week, and here he is showing his muscle on that outside line. Right now it's the outside line. If we go 3 wide eventually, it will be the middle line. But is Regan Parent going to lead that first lap? He's got to push from Stephen Daddy out, and now he's going to shift to the inside, and I think he's going to do it.
Absolutely. All night here, you're going to see some guys get some momentum built up on that outside line and make that same turn down to the bottom lane, just as Regan did there, come to the start-finish line. So look for that. Guys will get help from guys pushing them up on that outside line, whether it's the second groove or the third groove, and then move down to the bottom. It's really difficult to control both lines here, as we see Regan trying to do that. And right there, the 99 truck says, I don't think so.
Yeah, we got a couple trucks like we were talking about that might be a little unfamiliar there as we're about to take it 3 wide. Regan Parent's going to actually fade a little bit, so we're going to continue 2 wide. But pushing the current front runner, Ryan Messer in the 1 is a newbie for the series. That's Justin Collison in the number 13 ride, and been informed that he's Paul, I think you said that he's an OG Vidane racer, and I had a chance to look him up quickly on the wonderful short track, or actually just motorsports racing database, the Third Turn, and he's an experienced driver in Ontario, runs the Dega Super Stock Series. Brent, I don't know if you're familiar with that. Probably not in your part of the country, but definitely he might be one to watch with such a front-running start.
Absolutely, and it looks like the Messer team lent him one of their fast Chevys because he qualified right in third with Messer on the pole. So some Canadian teamwork maybe there going on. The Dega Superstock Series is in Ontario. It's probably about 12 hours away from where I am, where Ryan is. They run kind of like a limited late model type of chassis, like metric factory-based chassis, and obviously a late model type body. So a very competitive class, and he's holding his own here, sitting, you see him right there, 4th in line on the bottom row.
Yeah, and I'm looking on the stats that Sal gave to us, his accomplishments. He's a big fan of Mike's Hard Lemonade, Justin Collison is, and he's a big fan of Paul Strickland Jr. So how about that, Showtime? But right now it's Showtime up front. John Peters and Kenny Kibbe, a couple past champions now, dueling side by side. Peters returned to victory lane last week, and he's going to try to go 2 for 2 here in as many weeks.
Absolutely, and right now everybody's just kind of getting the lay of the land. We see the front runners here trying to see if they can lead a lap, because I mean that's 1 point, and that counts towards the season ending here. So you're going to see right there, the 13 truck is pushing the 09 really heavy, and the 7 of Cody LeBlanc on the top is really pushing the 4. They can only do that for so long until they get too hot. So we'll see how that plays out as we see the 17 truck trying to make it a 3rd groove.
Yeah, there's a lot of jockeying for position and seeing how things work. Jeffrey Bradway giving John Peters a big push on that inside. There you see Mike Hopkins a little bit in the middle in that bright yellow number 78. The sponsor driver for the week. And career Talladega finishes haven't been that great. Best finish of 13th, but he has also had some good runs, especially at Daytona. So definitely might be one to watch at Talladega as we see him pull to the outside for the moment. And he's going to follow, I think that's Colby Burkholder in the 29. And we got another Burkholder in the field, Kyle Burkholder, a little further back, as we see drivers kind of spreading out a little bit there. Scott McDonald in the 44 just ran the fastest lap of the race so far. And Arcel gave us a great sheet of competitors and their career starts, and it was sorted by their total career starts. Scott McDonald's all the way at 105, Jeff Brown at 104, Evan Boyer at 102, and Brent, we had 4 drivers that are going to be making their 100th start today. You would have been the 5th driver, but I guess we'll see you next week.
We'll wait a week for that one for sure. Yeah, absolutely. It's really cool to see Scott at the top of the board for most starts in NEP history there. He's a sleeper here. He usually pulls out a top 5, top 3 in these plate tracks. Watch the 44, because he'll hit right there. Like right now he's running in the 18th position, but he's just saving some fuel, riding along, making sure he doesn't get up here in this hornet's nest where it is up front, keeping his nose clean and making sure he's around at the end. And he is phenomenal at doing that. So keep an eye on that 44 truck. He'll be around when the white flag comes.
Yeah, and he actually just turned that fastest lap once again in that number 44. And yeah, we were talking about some milestones. 100th NEP start. We already mentioned John Peters. It's his 100th. We already mentioned Mike Hopkins. It's his 100th. And then also Corey Casagrande and Zane Farrell. We saw Corey moving around there in the 7CT a little bit in the middle. There he is, getting a push from Cody at the moment on that outside line. Going to try to get something going here. Maybe make a bid for the lead if they get enough of momentum there on the outside. Right now, that inside line, though, working really well here at Talladega. But a long way to go still. A lot of things to be decided. Pit strategy, they have 2 extra sets of tires tonight, 75% fuel. So the max you can go is about 24 green flag laps. We know the restrictor plate kind of conditions really do a number on your fuel mileage when it comes to these particular facilities, and they're going to have to pit at least twice.
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks like two pit stops. I think it's going to be really tight to see if they'll try to stretch it for one, but we'll see how that outside line gets connected back up here. We got a pair of sevens there pushing Dale Glesner now on the top side. Looks like Ryan Messer's trying to jump up there, but Dale says no, thank you. He wants to lead that outside groove. To get momentum up there, you really got to stay tight and stay connected and stay organized. And right now, the top groove's just not doing that. I think we got to the point of the race right now where almost 10 laps in, everybody's kind of found a spot. We're kind of thinking the fuel economy game to see where we're going to end up here towards who's going to pit and when they're going to do that to get to the optimal position for setting up for the end of the race.
Yeah, most certainly. And right now, everyone's been todaying pretty clean. As we rider along with Corey Casgrande, riding behind Evan Boyer right now, who's in the number 56 truck, gets his way into the inside line, and he's kind of just riding. We see the RPMs. They don't go too high here at Talladega with the restrictor plates. But right now we see mostly the single file formation kind of having, got a little close there between
touch
the
and go there. Bump drafting in the corners can get a little tricky, and if you're not lined up perfect, you can spin a guy really, really easy, especially if you get onto the left rear corner. You get the wrong push in the wrong spot right there, it can really send the truck around, and next thing you know, you got 3 or 4 guys turn back around upside down and looking for some repairs.
Yeah, for sure. And I was out in the desert. I kind of wish I was still, because we're expecting some snow here this weekend in North Carolina. But last week I was in Tucson, Arizona, and it actually came up on the little 3/8 mile. Oh, well, before I continue talking about that, we have what you exactly
There we go.
Explain, Brent.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, Adam Henry gets clipped there. Dan Winter in the Winter Pit Products machine getting involved as well. And I think, Paul, you're bringing up that replay. Let's see what happened.
Indeed, I am. You guys made mention that Highline was starting to get pretty organized up on the high side. We're still a few laps. Well, we were a few laps there from green flag pit stops. And there you see, it looks like it might have been a little bit of a nasty bump from the 04 to the back of the 78.
It's clean.
It is clean. How about that? There was a lot of air between those two trucks, losing the back end of the 78. And, well, I guess that means I can push this button. Boop. Tough break for Mike Hopkins, especially after the unfortunate incident last week at Bristol.
Fab Shop's going to be busy again, it looks like.
Yeah, gonna be getting a little extra virtual sheet metal down at the old Hopkins fabrication shop.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I watched back, and the 04 did not touch them, and the air model of these trucks got updated not long ago. And we noticed at Charlotte that they really started driving differently. So coming through the trioval there, it looked like the 78 went up to the outside and got a lot of air on the nose all of a sudden. And when he went to turn back down, I think he just had an abundance of front downforce that he wasn't expecting, and it got the truck light, and that turned him into the bottom lane there. So just a mistake. That's just part of plate racing right there, unfortunately.
Yeah, we heard Hopkins on the race comms kind of tapped out on that one, said took the blame for that. Tough break for Mike. He obviously had a tough race last week, and glad to see him come back this week, but not the way he wanted to end it for sure.
For sure. We got pit stops here, Aaron.
We sure do. And it's a little early for that, but here we go.
We see all those Winter's pit boxes lined up there on pit road. They look so beautiful.
For sure.
Yes, Dan was asking for us to give him some shout outs, but unfortunately I don't think this is the way he wanted it to go.
Oh, Glesner missed his pit box. That's going to be bad news.
Yeah, we see some pretty quick pit stops there. Kenny Kibbe coming out front, John Peters, Steven Daddio, Ryan Messer, and Jeffrey Bradway. Looks like it's the top 5. Something
looks
wrong
like
with
fuel only here.
It's never too early for fuel.
That is true. I mean, after this, they only really need to make one more stop now that it's, within that window. Well, maybe not. We have 54 to go. So the estimation that RSAL gave us ahead of time was approximately 24 laps. So still gonna kind of need to stretch it maybe, but I have a feeling with 2 sets of tires still back there for most of these guys that they're gonna potentially come in whenever there's an opportunity.
Yeah, tires aren't really what you crave here. I mean, they'll help a little bit at the end, but not nearly as much. Just you can kind of nurse an old set of tires here. The fuel, that's non-negotiable. But yeah, it's definitely early for us. We'll have to see how it works out and hopefully catch the right break that everybody needs.
Just popped over to a couple of the crew chiefs on top of those Winners Pit Products pit carts. And they said that you're about 24, 25 laps on a tank of fuel is what they're kind of averaging out to. So it looks like we're going to have another round of stops. But the thing that I'm kind of pointing out with that is we're pretty close to almost splitting the next run in half. So if it goes green from here and you have somebody lead all the laps and they're on the throttle the entire time out front, that's going to be bad news to maybe not making it to the end and having to do a splash of gas. But generally, we usually get a caution towards the end of these.
Yeah, we've seen, maybe not at Talladega, but I know at Daytona, I think it was a couple of years ago, we went green all the way until they were wrecking to the checkered flags. So you never know what can happen. We see a couple more late in this caution run coming down pit road. That's, I guess, not much of a surprise. Why not top it off and see if you get an extra splash? I think Scott McDonald was one of them. Track position's not. Yeah, track position's not entirely key right now because you can, if your truck's running all right, you can draft your way back up to the front. So,
absolutely. So we see Kyle Burkholder on pit road, Cody LeBlanc. Looks like the 17 and the 44 are also topped off with fuel. So that extra lap could play dividends because, like I said, if you're really close to splitting that rate in half, that extra lap can make all the difference.
Indeed. So we're kind of reset things here for the restart. We're going to go green next time by, it looks like. The field kind of catching up on things. We are doubled up. Kenny Kibbe and John Peters will be the front row. And then it will be Ryan Messer.
Interesting lane choice here for Kenny because his teammate Daddio is on the outside row in row 2. So very interesting for him to choose the bottom in front of Messer there and not go with his teammate.
Definitely interesting. Although I think when we might come down to it a little bit later, we might see it a little bit different. But you never know what can happen here at Talladega. Right now, yeah, there we are. Ryan Messer running third. Daddio fourth. Jeffrey Bradway fifth. The 0-13 of Justin Collison sixth. Seventh, Evan Boyer. Brandon Newhouse for the second straight week is back as he will restart in eighth. Colby Burkholder and Austin Belke will round out the top 10. And I believe we've got the pace truck coming down to pit road this time by.
Yeah, lights are out. We're going to make the left-hand turn, and we're going to wait another 4 hours here, it seems like, by the time you get all the way over to the start-finish line.
That's right. And, of course, also with these restrictor plate tracks, usually takes a lap or so to get up to speed as well, up to the speed that you're running once you're in a longer green flag run. Talk about that a little bit as we go back to green.
For sure. So right here, all you're trying to do is hit your shifts. You don't want to hit the rev limiter. You don't want to shift too early. But you try to stay in line and work with the guys, and hopefully somebody doesn't do what John Peters just did to the 99 right there. But keep your nose clean and just try to get up to speed as fast as possible. Right about here, you're not really up to full song, but you'll see a lot of guys start really sucking up to the truck in front of them. It seems like once you're on that you're still getting up to speed on the backstretch, you can really get a run out of 2. And then as you go through 3 and 4 and exit a turn 4 over here, you're really up to full song now. So you kind of got, if you were going to make any moves, it's kind of in that first couple corners, turn 1 and 2. So we see the 56 and the 99 hook up on the outside line with the other Canadian. The 56 gets a little loose there when he gets a bump draft from the 99. It's always treacherous going through that tri-oval, especially if you get a bump in the wrong spot.
Yeah, some good insight right there as we continue. Front four have kind of broken away just a little bit, and then we're side by side for fifth. Colby Burkholder battling with Evan Bollier. Colby and Kyle Burkholder in the field tonight, as we mentioned earlier. Colby is his best finish is a 7th at Iowa. I believe that was last season.
Ooh.
So things get a little treacherous almost
A
there.
late minute lane change by the 11, the 1, 11, whatever you want to call it, of Dale Glesner there in front of the 56. Almost put them both in the fence. So looked like the 56 lifted a little bit to get him there. And we see Collison trying to make a third groove again. We'll see if that pans out for him. But without any help, it's probably not going to go too far.
Yeah, as a relative newbie to the NEP series, a lot of drivers not necessarily familiar with them, so I can kind of see why nobody might want to be a dancing partner. But here comes Brandon Uhouse on the outside, and maybe they will.
I don't think that was by choice. Looked like Glesner
Okay.
kind of rooted him out of the way and
Well,
wanted to move a little bit
true.
forward.
And we do see some of them moving into. Look at Zane Farrell here. First
Yep.
time we've really gotten to mention him on track tonight. He is moving up there in the 14 with a little help from Steven Daddio. Farrell had a podium result last week and only has finished out of the top 10 once this season.
Yeah, Zane's sitting pretty well right now, sitting 4th in points overall. Kind of surprising result there.
Zane's had a very strong and solid season this year. He's run good pretty well everywhere we've gone. So happy to see him do that, because I think last year we could not probably say the same thing, unfortunately. So good to see him rebound a little bit this year and get some good results for that team. But we see the outside groove, the outside lanes starting to form up. You see them be organized. Daddio in the 99 is a really good pusher, and Zane holds a pretty wheel too. He can hold it solid. Because don't discredit the guy that's in the lead of one of those packs, the guy that's being pushed. There's a lot of things that guy does to make it that easier to push for the guy behind him. So there's some tricks and things that you can do. This outside line just needs to stay organized. We can see that 14 right to the front here in a lap or two.
Yeah, most certainly. You definitely see that outside line getting him a good bit more momentum now that there's 5 or 6 of them lined up pretty closely. And we could possibly even coming to the stripe here.
There it is.
Farrell, yep, he leads that lap by about a nose, maybe a little bit more than that. And now Kenny Kibbe going to try to get a run on that inside once again. And Scott McDonald keeps kicking off those fastest laps if our graphic's correct back there.
So that's a very common move right there. The 14 moved to the bottom lane once he was clear, but he waited for the 90. What's interesting is he waited for the 99 to be clear to bring him with him. So now the first 3 trucks on the bottom line there is the 14, the 99, and then the 4. So the 99 and the 4 are obviously teammates with 4 wide repertory. And then beyond there, we have a couple independents there on the top, and then the 09 and the 1. And the 13 there following the line on the bottom groove. So not a whole lot of team play here just yet, but it was very interesting to see the 14 wait for the 99 to get clear before he pulled down to bring his drafting partner with him.
Yeah, most definitely, and I think we'll see a lot more than that, more of that when we get down to the closing stages of this race. And riding with Scott McDonald, we were talking about him a little bit earlier. Riding in that 10th spot in the number 44, following the Uhouse Racing Designs truck of Brandon Uhouse. As Scott McDonald, like we were talking about, he is one of those drivers to watch. We call him the wild card. That's what our Sal listed him as career best at 4th here at Talladega, like you were alluding to before, Brent, twice. So he's finished 4th twice here at Talladega. His NEP bets over under is 9.5 tonight, and I have a feeling some people might have been taking him. Paul might be going for some of those wild card picks, especially since his fantasy point lead is only at 1 over Brian Shipp at this point.
Yeah, you have to get after the fantasy points. So it's almost to the point now. I've got a little bit of a cushion in the lead in the NEP bets points. So got to play a little bit defensive. You know, I had to pick. I think I picked Ryan Messer for the pole and the win. So I got some pole points there. We'll see where that one truck ends up right now, or one of the one trucks anyway. Because you can see those Uhouse Racing Designs paint schemes. They are ripping and gripping up towards the front, Brett.
Absolutely. We just saw 3 trucks pull in line there. So things to note, the 11 or the 1 on the door there, Glesner, the 3 of Uhouse and the 14 of Zane, they're all on the same team and the same channel, so they're communicating with each other. So what the 14 can do, and probably did in that situation, is slow down the bottom groove, back it up, get all those trucks in line, and so then you have all your drafting buddies right in line with you. So just another key part of the chess teamwork that happens here at plate racing that you see kind of play out. So we see some of the earlier players start to fade towards the back, and then the rest of the back half of the field, you're going to have some players in the back half of the field here that are just riding. The 24, the 9, kind of the back half of the top 10, top 15, the 56, and the 6 ball back there. They're just sitting there riding, saving some fuel, waiting for their time to go.
One of those is Reagan Parent in the RKM setup shop, number 17. He's just kind of hanging back here at the tail of the field, running 22nd. Kind of surprising to see him back here. He is a former Daytona winner.
Absolutely, and Reagan's probably just sitting there back there again, saving fuel, waiting for the time to go. And the other part too is up here if you're running P5, P6, whatever, you got somebody on your door, you're side by side, you're fighting the air, and trouble is just lurking around every corner. When you're back there where the 12 is, where the 17 is, the 27, if something happens in front of you, you can get slowed up in time and get around it and not be involved. So that's sometimes the play, the kind of the Martin Truex type of race that people will do, is just hang around out back and then make a go at the end of it.
Yeah, for the first part of the race, you just got to survive, got to stay on the lead lap, catch the pit break, right? Like I said, make sure you come in the pits with your teammates if you can. Stay on that lead lap, and if you can hang in there, you will be around.
Yeah, and that's one interesting thing that I'll be interested in seeing when those that are around as we get closer to the end of this race. When we're at the beginning of the season at Daytona, most have nothing to lose, but you're kind of thinking, well, I want to start this off on a good foot and start maybe thinking points racing. I don't know. But at Talladega, though, by the time we're at this stage of the season, there's guys that, they're out of the points race, so they don't have to think about it. Someone like Regan Parent here, who just ran the fastest lap, he might be completely going for it by the time we get to a few laps to go, because he's not in the points race this year. He missed quite a few of the first weeks of the season, and he might just be going for it.
I think he's trophy hunting.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Trophy hunting is the proper term that I, for some reason, did not have off the top of my head. But there you see him right now on that outside line, and Arcel having a little bit of connection issues, it looks like. But hopefully, it looks like he's able to get that restored and stays out of the way. But also following Regan Parent was Mario Ercolani, who we know was a late entry. I don't think he was able to qualify, and he started shotgun on the field. But we see the NEP rookie having a solid run there, too, around about 10th or so place for the moment.
Yeah, I went to go give Mario a shout-out last week. He wasn't in the field last week at Bristol. He said he was tuned in 30,000 feet above Ohio somewhere, so I imagine he was on an airplane. But said the stream looked real good, and had to thank him for the kind words about the broadcast. And we're live all over the place, by the way. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all that good stuff. Give us the like, the share, the subscribe, all that good stuff. Let your friends and family know you're watching a little bit of iRacing action here on a Thursday night. It's NEP's Night in America and parts of Canada. Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr. I'm sitting in the production truck watching some fantastic SuperTruck racing here at the virtual Talladega Speedway. Ron, Aaron Creed, Brent Roy, Jeff Brown, they're taking care of the calls here this evening. And Aaron, it's been a solid race so far tonight.
Almost certainly it has, and a fairly clean race so far. We saw that early mix-up that unfortunately a few drivers were involved, and unfortunately a few of them have not continued on or are off the pace. As we see, we see, I think Cody LeBlanc was one of them that's a bit off the pace. Mike Hopkins in the pits, unfortunately, with an early exit. A few others exited pretty early. Joey Dwyron was one of them. So, but up front, we see kind of like we saw earlier, Zane Farrell continuing on up front in that 14. He's got a fellow Western Pennsylvania driver, Colby Burkholder, following him in the 29, and another one, I think that's Dale Glessner, in the third spot. So the Keystone
teamwork happening there for sure.
Yeah, the Keystone State representing right now. up front. But we see Justin Collison still having a good run in his NEP debut on that outside line. Does drift back just a little bit. Now it's Brandon Uhouse moves to the outside of him. He is going to get hung out to dry for the time being, but we've seen he's been able to get that 0-1-3 back up there without a whole lot of effort, it seems.
Yeah, for sure. It seems to be a strong truck. I think it was the like I said, the other Canadian in the field there, Ryan Messer. They lent them a backup truck from Daytona to enter this race. So we maintained 2 Canadians in the field, which is good to see. But I want to give a big shout out to the series sponsor, Winter Pit Products, sponsoring the NEP Truck Super Truck Series presented by Winter Pit Products. The amount of pit products and pit boxes that they put out for a small organization, and the quality that they put out is second to none. You see some of these guys, going around with these pit boxes, and you swear they're like NASCAR style or NASCAR level pit boxes. But one of the guys in the field here, Dan Winter, his attention to detail is spot on, and I'm usually one that can point out a couple imperfections here and there. You just can't find them on his products. Their shop's been upgraded here the last little bit, and the support for the NEP series from Winter Pit Products has been awesome.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome. Dan Winter, a longtime supporter of NEP, and we see him on the racetrack during most of the regular season too. So if you do see him at the racetrack in that familiar-looking Winter Pit Products and Window World number 81, be sure to head over to his pit. And if you're looking for some pit products, definitely hit him up. Whether that's
absolutely a tire card or a pit box or
anything.
Whatever it is, there's something for everybody's budget that they offer. And you don't even have to go see them. Just go tune into their website. I don't know right off, but I'm sure it's winterpitproducts.com or something like that. And you can order it. They'll ship it right to your door, whether it's a tire card or a Weekend Warrior box or a Spring Smasher, one of the coilover commanders. They've taken over that and produced those. I have one of those myself. What a phenomenal tool if you have a late model. But they do awesome work. They'll ship anywhere in the country, and they have a really nice website that was designed by Nitro Designs that you can go on there and order from and get you looked right after.
Yeah, definitely. And we talked about them last week, both Winter Pit Products and Nitro Designs, supporters of John Peters as well with the GNG's gift. And John got a chance to talk about that a little bit after his win last week. So, it's just what's cool about it is, we got all this competitiveness here on the virtual racetrack and sometimes some sore tempers at the end of the night. But during the regular racing season, everyone's kind of supporting each other just to get out there and everything. So, Dan Winter, for instance, races I think mostly in the Granite State Pro Stock Series, but it's a fairly budget series, so he's a guy that races on a budget. So when you're looking for his particular products and everything, that you're talking to someone that knows what it's like to kind of be on a budget if you are on one.
Absolutely, he knows how to make every dollar count, and it's nice to be able to get a product that is NASCAR level quality without having the NASCAR level dollar behind it, for sure. So we see not a whole lot of movement up front, Aaron. I'd say these guys are getting pretty handy. We're on lap 30 of 65 here. That's telling me we're probably 10-ish laps away from pit stop if this goes green. So we've seen some of the guys that were leading this pack earlier, the 4, the 99, the 09, the 1. They're not in the front anymore. They're in the back half of this field, the back half of this front kind of pack. They're sitting there trying to save fuel. What they want to do is try to get a lap buffer, 1 or 2 laps of fuel buffer, so that when they pit, they know they're good to the end and then some, right? Because we have those 2 green-white checkers at the end of these, and if you're only good by a lap and you get 2 green-white checkers, well, you're not in good position, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see what this is going to mean for Zane Farrell, because he's out front. And he's been out front for quite a bit so far and during this run. So that has to do a number on what your fuel mileage might be. And
100%. That 14 is sitting out front, leading that lane. He's full throttle, foot to the floor the entire way. So he is not going to get the fuel economy that, let's say, the 29 of Burkholder or the 1 of Glesner sitting in P2 or P3 are going to get. And then even worse than that is we see the three of Juhaus trying to come up the outside there in the second groove. He's foot to the floor, leading that lane. He's not going to get as good a fuel economy either. So it's going to be very interesting to see who plays out where and who's able to come down and stretch it versus who doesn't. And then obviously getting on and off pit road. You still got to get on and off pit road and not stumble over everybody that you're traveling with.
Looks like
Yeah,
pit stops might be coming up sooner than you think, Brent. Looks like some of the cars in the back of the pack here talking maybe 4 or 5 laps before they're going to come in.
Good to know.
Yeah, and what's interesting is we were talking about Zane Farrell and Brandon Newhouse. If they choose to pit a little sooner, will they? If they choose to pit a little sooner, will they decide to? Will some of their buddies or teammates and whatnot decide to follow them? And then we got different strategies going on. If some drivers are pitting one lap, some drivers are pitting another lap. How it's all going to kind of sync up when everything kind of rotates around.
For sure.
This is
the information sheet, Aaron, for fuel economy for the that RSL provided. What did it say for approximate fuel on a tank?
It only said approximately 24 green flag laps, so
Right.
that was a little shorter than expected. But yeah, that's
for sure. I'm hearing that some of these teams, like Jeff alluded to, are going to be probably pitting within the next. I think you're going to see pit stops within the next 1 to 6 laps here. So the key to that is even at 6 laps, and if the pit window is 24, you got to stop again for fuel. You're not going to get it to the end.
Yeah, that's definitely correct. So, yeah,
it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. And like you said, it's going to be, who people pit with. You're going to see team cars start to kind of pair off here or bunch up and leave some space in between. So when you're looking at the field here, and you see, the 4 and the 99 there, or the front 3 cars, if they start to get gaps in between them, you know that they're probably going to be coming here soon. The guys on the outside groove, obviously, they're not coming this lap. But you see everybody starting to be single file, starting to think about pit stops and who's coming with who.
Sounds like 14 might be telegraphing a pit stop right about now.
There we go. The first couple, the 14, the 17, the 41, and the 13 all hit pit road and clean.
Yeah.
Did you say the 4 in that pack? Because Kenny Kibbe is a big
14.
fan of that undercut.
Nope. Just 4 on pit road. The 17, the 14, the 41, and the 13. First one's to pit road.
So these 4 on pit road at the moment. I have a feeling we're going to see, at this point, 4 tires and fuel, since we saw fuel only earlier and everyone's got those tires available. If everyone's going to pit, it's not going to be a big
like
problem.
Fuel only.
Is
fuel
it?
only for those 4 cars, yeah. So with that, and us only being able to put about 13 gallons of fuel in these, taking 4 tires takes longer. And under green flag pit stops, you don't want to be stopped any longer than you need to be.
So, from your experience at Talladega, Brent, as we see more trucks coming down
the majority, and there's trouble. There's trouble.
I think
right
that's
there. That's Cooter. Yep. And he missed the commitment cone, and hopefully he doesn't get hit right here. Everybody did a good job.
Right now we're
still green.
Yeah. The green flag staying out. You see on pit road right now a bunch of trucks out there. But we do see John Peters and Ryan Messer have stayed out. But no, from your experience at Talladega in the past, is it pretty destructive on tires, or is it?
No.
Can you kind of just ride?
You can pretty much just ride. It doesn't wear the tires a whole lot. We see the 229 Autosport guys kind of stayed out and ran this one long. The one and the 09 are hooked up pretty tight. You're going to see them come in. The 09 and the 56, obviously, a little bit disconnected here. Looks like they're going an extra lap, so they're looking to really get towards the end here. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this all blends out, because these guys are losing speed as they're going along here, because the rest of the field, see how they get all connected up as they come out of the pits on the backstretch. They're all really disconnected at the moment, and as they come up to speed, it's going to be interesting to see how they get connected, because we see the first 3 that pitted, the 17, 41, and 13, seem to have lost the 14, wherever Zane went. I don't see Zane anywhere on the track. But anyways, he's back in pit road. It's going to be interesting to see how everybody blends back up, because these 3 trucks have been up to speed and together. And how the 229 Autosport guys come back out in the pit road is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, I'm not certain what happened to Zane. We see him going back out once again, but he's going to lose. He might have lost a lap there
The
altogether.
229 Autosport guy coming in now, the 09, the 9, the satellite team of the 1, and the 56. Now, unfortunately for the 56 of Evan, he lost the draft a little bit earlier there, and he's not connected. So as they come out of the pits, he's going to be vulnerable here.
Yeah, we're going to see if he can catch back up to them. But obviously, if he's on the same strategy as the rest of them and does what they all decide to do, it looks like I saw John Peters
Hopefully he
take
gets
some
a pack.
tires.
He might have taken 2.
Yeah, so that actually might help Evan Bowyer, though.
4 tires on the 9.
If
as
Evan
well.
chooses to take fuel only.
Right.
But yeah, we see these guys are all single file. But those other guys that we just saw, yeah, they're just coming out now. And here comes the pack. I have a feeling they're not going to get up to speed here.
They're not going to get it in time. No, they're going to get freight trained here pretty quick. So I think right there is a combination of 2 things. We know the 17, the 41, and the 13 did not take tires. We know that. We know the 1 and the 09 took tires. So it's going to be interesting to see how that grip plays out, considering we saw the 78 spin out all by himself on the front stretch there earlier this race, just due to the air buffing around. So that'll be interesting to see to start with. And then additionally, how these guys are doing on fuel to the end. Who has to save and who doesn't have to save.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of things coming into play here that we're going to have to figure out as we are under 30 laps to go. If we continue under green, though, these guys are more than likely going to have to pit one more time. Under 10 laps to go, most likely. So that's really going to set up some interesting...
Looking like it's going to be very tight for sure. So it looks like his pit stops have fully cycled through, and we see 2 distinct packs here. And again, that's really because of the fact that that first group got connected. They pitted all together, and then they got connected really quick on exit. And then the 7 of Cody LeBlanc and the 99 of Daddio had really good pit stops, so they were able to hang on to them. So that first 5 trucks, if they're smart, they wouldn't fight each other. They just stay in line, and hopefully that second pack does not catch them.
Yeah, that second pack is larger, though. So if they stay single file, it looks like they're already reeling on.
There's a key thing you just said there. If they stay single file, they can't fight each other.
And a couple veteran drivers up front in that pack, Ryan Messer and John Peters, definitely seem to know that. They see everyone kind of jockeying around a little bit, but right now everyone's behaving. So
absolutely. Right now they're beating them by about 1 mile an hour a lap here.
A lot of experienced drivers in that draft, and oh boy.
Absolutely. There's, you got Messer leading it. Peters is a really good pusher. Dale Glesner is a really good plate racer too, so not to be counted out. Burkholder's come a long way. Uhouse, the 4 of Kenny Kibbe's a good plate racer, and the 9 of Ricker is an awesome pusher as well. So you got some really good, and I mean, Bulky's been around for a while, so he knows how to control the air too. So you got, like you said, got a lot of really good guys in that second pack that should be able to play nice here and see how it goes. But it's going to be very interesting. Like I said, that front pack, the 17, the 41, and specifically the 17 of Reggie Parent. It's going to be interesting to see where he's at on fuel towards the end of the race here.
Yeah, most certainly, as we see Reggie Parent leading the way with Mario Ercolani running in second spot, having a great run. Jeffrey Bradway.
He didn't even hit qualifying. He's running P2.
Yeah, about that. Definitely the biggest mover in this race for sure. Jeffrey Bradway riding in third in the moment. Always have to kind of keep an eye on. He seems to have a different paint scheme each week, but still has the Be Like Biff on the back. The Greg Biffle tribute on the deck lid of that number 13 truck. Cody LeBlanc running fourth, and in fifth right now, Stephen Daddio sort of losing that front draft. Don't know if he's just kind of backing up a little bit.
Well, I'm watching that. I'm keeping an eye on that, and that leads me to believe that he might be close on fuel and trying to just kind of do the Darrell Waltrip thing. Just hang around there, save on fuel, and maybe just take it away at the end. So him not being really close leads me to believe that. I want to pop down to the top of the Winter Pit Products 14 pit box there and see what happened to that 14, because I saw him come back in after pit stops, and I don't know if it was a penalty or they might not have got the lug nuts tight or what it was.
All right. While Brent does that, we continue to ride here. I don't know if it seems like that second pack has kind of lost the opening pack a little bit, but Steven Daddio drifting back just a little bit. I don't know if that's also because he's got some teammates back there too. So do you want him to kind of catch back up? But I see you're back, Brent. Did you get any kind of a scoop?
So reports from the crew chief of the 14 is too fast on pit road.
Wow.
So we had to stop and go. We had to come down and stop and go and a hold at that. So pretty stiff penalty for that. But that's just how easy it can happen. We went from leading the race to 23rd.
23rd a lap down and looking like he's running on his own on the track right now. He's got Scott McDonald just a little bit ahead of him. If Scott can drag the brake a little bit, pick him up, they might be able to do a little bit better than they're going to be doing solo.
And the thing is, Zane is, even though he's a lap down, he's not the first truck a lap down. So, yeah, he might be begging for a caution to kind of bunch things up a little bit, but he's not going to get the free pass at the moment. So, right now we see Mike Hopkins kind of limping out there, back out, getting some points in that number 78. He stays out of the way of the leaders. Daddio's kind of met back up with these front runners.
So we note here on these front runners, the fourth car of Cody LeBlanc is the first car one lap down. So that fourth position on track is not for position. So Daddio is actually P4.
Oh. Well, that's good to know. And Cody's then one of them that's begging for a yellow flag, or maybe
right.
I don't know if there's a way to really go for the lead right now. Like we were saying, they want to stay single file to continue ahead of that second pack, and they've actually done a great job with that. Mario Orcolani pushing Regan Parent a little bit now.
And then another note, in the second pack here, we see the third car in line, and that second pack is the 11, but the one on the door of Dale Glesner, he's also one lap down, so that is not for position. So the biggest thing that for Dale is he needs this pack to catch the front pack, and he needs to pass that 07 of Cody LeBlanc to get that fourth or get that lucky dog position. And Cody needs this to basically just needs a yellow. He needs to just sit there, get a yellow, and then everything will be fine.
Yeah, right now, though, it's been clean and green as we've continued on. We've only had the one yellow flag. Not really. We talk about the big one normally. It wasn't that big of one, but it did claim a few competitors. And then there's a few that also have gone behind the wall as well. Since then, Corey Casagrande out of the race. Dan Winter that we've been speaking about, he's out of the race as well, according to scoring. So, tough break for some of them.
Doran, Bobby Ship as well out. We see Mr. Hopkins is back on track, 18 laps down, but back on there, getting some positions for sure.
Here's the kind of your third pack of competitors. Jared Adams leading that group, and Jared usually one of those to watch at these restrictor plate tracks. I know he was disappointed at Daytona, had a great dual finish, and then when it came to race day, unfortunately wasn't able to make the call in that number 43 truck and was quite bummed out about that. But Jared Adams solidly in the 12th spot right now in the 43.
Of course, notables here in that third pack.
Yeah, and they're going to be hoping for a yellow flag most likely as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we see a couple other trucks. Justin Collison that we talked about earlier, he is 9 laps down now, so he's out of the picture. I know we had that little bit of a mix-up coming down pit road there during those green flag stops. But right now, all together, looks like we have 20 trucks on the lead lap. Jeffrey Brown and Scott McDonald at the tail end of the lead lap at the moment. Probably going to lose a lap here shortly if we continue under green.
Right. Scott McDonald just entered the backstretch, middle of the backstretch here now. Zane Farrell's actually caught him, so they're going to help each other a little bit. But compared to this front pack, they're not going to be as fast. But one thing I've noticed here is once Michael Hopkins caught the back of this pack, that was the worst thing that could have happened for that second pack because the gaps kind of stabilized.
Yeah, it certainly has. So we're going to have to see what exactly is going to happen, as there we do see the leader of the second pack, Ryan Messer, in the 5th spot, 5th through 11th in that freight train at the moment. Ryan Messer all the way back to Austin Belke. So right now, everyone kind of just hanging tight. Kind of expected this if we were going to have a green flag run during the middle stages, because they're all likely going to have to pit once again. and then we're going to see things set up for quite a rally.
Yeah.
In the
So
lap.
there's another key to this whole, remember, this chess game. If this runs green, right now we're sitting with 18 to go. We know all these guys have to stop again. Everybody on the track has to stop again. How long they stop for is going to be the key. So guys that pitted 2 and 3 laps earlier have to stay stationary for longer, and 1 second on this track is a long distance.
Just for reference sake, I'm running out here full throttle, alone, solo, and I've got about 10 laps before I got to come in and pit. So the leaders running in the pack, able to save a little bit of fuel, probably doing a little bit better than that.
Good reference point.
Thank you, gentleman. Jeffrey Brown / Tim Richmond out there.
Well, like I said, as long as we don't have a Dick Johnson moment, we'll be all good.
We did say that.
Any trees, and we'd be all right. It looks like the lead pack is about to catch the 14 and the 44 of Zane Farrell and Scott McDonald, which is not sure if that's going to be good news or bad news for the 7 of Cody LeBlanc, but it's going to be bad news for Zane Farrell because that's going to be lap 2 for him.
Yeah, running solo out here, we're losing about at least a second a lap. So I'm looking at Reagan's running about 6.5 seconds back of me right now. So I have to be pretty courteous when those guys come charging up.
Pretty remarkable. We've kept 20 trucks on the lead lap up until about this 15 laps to go mark, though. So right now we're going to see who can kind of join that next.
See a lead position change here in the second pack.
Yeah, definitely going to see if they can switch it up. Maybe that was part of the strategy. John Peters getting up front. Maybe his truck works a little bit better up front. Maybe they're kind of playing
the fuel economy.
Yeah,
here
it might be. That's for sure. As Ryan Messer's
leading that pack ever since the pits, so he's going to pull up to the back of that field. And right there, he's going to be able to save a lot more fuel than running out front.
Yeah, that probably was planned, I would imagine. As there we see the back of the ProShopHobbies.com number 24 of Austin Belke. As there we see, yes, John Peters now in the front of that pack. Dale Glessner, Colby Burkholder, Brandon Uhouse, all in that pack. Continuing to kind of just ride in the single file formation. Well, as I say that, now we're getting a little antsy, it looks like, and maybe
well, again, another change for fuel economy, I would say. Trying to get back in the draft for save a little bit more fuel. So the guys like the 4 of Kenny Kibbe and the 9 of Jason Ricker, the 24 of Austin Belke, they've been in the back half of that field the entire time of that train. And we see somebody coming to pit road up there. Oh, the first pack is to pit road with 15 to go.
Yeah, they will be able to make it to the end now once they make these pit stops.
Absolutely.
The question is, are we going to see them pit fuel only, take tires? We're going to see it here momentarily. But we see Steven Daddio did stay out, though. Interesting.
So they're stationary for approximately 7 or 8 seconds. You said Daddio stayed out?
He did.
So he's going to lose a ton of ground right now because he's all by himself.
But is this part of the strategy where he's going to try to join back up with some of his fellow racers, and then they'll have a bigger pack to kind of have something for the smaller for the pack that got even smaller?
Potentially. Now. If it were me and I was in the 99 truck and I was with that group, I would have come because I would have come to pit road because if now he's all by himself. He's going to lose all that time he's just gained on that second pack.
It's true.
But looking at this, the 3 that come off pit road and they're on the backstretch, they're not connected at all. The 17 is way ahead of the 41, and same thing with the 13. There's about a second between each one of them, so that's not going to help them at all either.
Definitely
so
interesting.
Your de facto leader now becomes the 99 of Daddio, who's now leading that second pack. Burkholder now becomes second place on track.
Yeah, I'm almost speechless to see what's exactly going to happen here. As there you see, they're all pushing Daddio now in the 99, and they're staying out another lap. So
Absolutely. So remember, the longer you stay out, the less time you have to stay stationary on pit road. As we see the third pack come to pit road, we
yeah,
kind of
Evan
missed that
Boyer,
one.
Johnny Miller. We haven't talked about him at all tonight. He's been a bit quiet there in that Screaming Eagle number 6.
Absolutely, the Eagles just been soaring out back, picking up the rise in heat currents and saving some fuel, and hopefully they'll get a little caution towards the end, get the 56 and the 6 ball back up there.
Yeah, and we might indeed see a caution as we get closer to the end, as some competitors turn up the wick after these pits kind of cycle, because you're going for it then
Absolutely.
once we go back. But you don't want to be the one involved, that's for sure.
No, once you know you're good to the end, it kind of you turn, like you said, you turn the wick up just a little bit, and you know that okay, now the race is on. Right now we're just getting to the in a weird way to say it, we're getting to the start of the race.
Yeah, you're kind of going. I guess you could say you're kind of going in reverse a little bit, kind of like what you see sometimes on the road courses, where you're kind of
100%.
trying to figure out the strategy from the finish to the
Yeah.
start.
You work it backwards because you don't lose a lap typically when you pit if everything goes well, right? So because of that, you're able to kind of do that sort of strategy. So the first group that did come down on pit road 4 or 5 laps ago, they are linked back up. Reggie, Mario, and the 13 of Bradway. But we see them working turns 1 and 2. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they roll out when this lead pack eventually comes to pit road.
I will say, for two cars that are trying to, or two trucks rather, that are trying to ostensibly save fuel and stay on the lead lap here, the 44 and the 14 are going at it at the front of this little pack here with the leaders breathing down our back.
Absolutely. See that, because that's going to be the fight. The 44 versus the, well, Cody LeBlanc is actually pitted, so he's no longer going to be in position for the lucky dog. It's now Glesner who's sitting behind Daddio. They're in on track. P2 kind of on track, but the 99 is actually the leader working the middle there, who's just caught the tail end of this group as we see the 27 come down to pit road for the last chance for fuel, last stop for fuel here.
Definitely getting interesting as we wind the laps down with 10 to go now, as we see Stephen Daddio continuing to lead the way, this pack continuing, and now that we've got like 14 or so trucks hooked up,
right?
Actually, might this actually make it beneficial for these guys when they do
100%.
kind of
Where the 99 is there and he's been catching those couple trucks for the last couple laps, that'll help his fuel economy because he's not leading the pack anymore. And then every truck on back is just sitting there riding 3/4 throttle, trying to stretch their fuel as much as possible. I don't know if anybody can do this, but it's going to really be something if somebody can stretch the fuel all the way to the end. But I believe that there's going to be pit stops for everybody. I'll be shocked if somebody stretches it all the way to the end.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's going to risk it in regard to that here. So we're just going to have to see how this all continues to play out as we see
9 to go now.
Yeah, 9 to go. Stephen Daddio, Colby Burkholder, Brandon Newhouse, Kenny Kibbe are your top 4. We see some of these other drivers that are kind of tail end of the lead lap, maybe another lap down. I think Zane Farrell's tail end of 1 lap down.
We got the 99 coming in this time.
Out of package.
Four Wide Weapon is going to be diving to the pits in just a moment.
All right, we got the word from
pit stops coming this time here, so keep our eyes. Make sure they all got to get on pit road clean. We see the 229 guys on the outside row here. They are probably not coming.
Oh.
Looks like they are coming. Split group right there. Everybody gets on pit road. Good position. Looks like the 9 truck is going to continue.
Yeah, Burkholder had to back it down there for a moment, but everyone safe and sound coming down pit road.
It'll be very interesting to see who takes tires, who stopped, who needs to take more fuel than others here.
Most definitely.
And the key here is to not overshoot the box. A lot of people will make that mistake. So it looks like no tires for a lot of people. The 4, the 09 down away, the 99 stationary a little bit longer than the rest. He's taking tires.
Wow. So, and then we see, like you were talking about, kind of a split pit stops. Jason Ricker still out there on the track. And here
The
we
other
see
thing
this.
is the exit of pit road here on the apron on worn tires is treacherous. As we see
Interesting.
that lead pack that pitted about 10 laps ago, they're up to full speed. They're good to the end of the race. They're just going to inherit the lead right there. That pass for that one truck was the impromptu lead of the race.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like Messer, now that he does get up to speed, he's not going to lose a ton of ground. So we'll have to see if that second pack kind of gathers things back up and is able to get catch back up. As there you see,
For
there's a
sure.
couple lap trucks. Zane Farrell and Kyle Burkholder, actually, they're going to pull down pit road. So never
Yep.
mind about that. Actually, that wasn't Zane Farrell. That was Adam Henry, I believe.
So that second
There's
group right here, led by Messer, they're going to catch the 56 a little bit here. That's going to close them up, hopefully for them to the top 3 that are. This is basically the race for the win right here.
And the top 3, of course, hoping that it doesn't. But this might come into play. Interesting to see that we saw Daddio. His strategy may not have worked out because we don't see him in this second pack. They're all going by Evan Boyer now.
I suspect that 4 tires might have been a mistake, a little miscommunication with the pit team, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see on that one.
Yeah, we're definitely closing pretty quick on these top 3.
So you see the last truck there, the 48 ship. He was the leader. He's now coming to pit road, so that'll cycle everybody up now.
Yeah, so 5 laps to go. Crossing the stripe this time by Regan Parent, Mario Ercolani, and Jeffrey Bradway.
And
have
everybody's
been
caught the pack, so this is a race for the win right here.
Got company, Ryan Messer and John Peters with a huge run as they come up on the outside. They don't have many helpers, though. So I was thinking they were going to tuck back in here, but Messer still giving it a try on the outside, and Peters is going to follow that MC Hammer ride.
Couple notes right here is if the 56 can catch back, I think he's going to lose a draft. He's a lap down. The 14 is a lap down, is 2 laps down. So the 14 is not for position, but he can play a big spoiler in this on who he helps and who he doesn't help.
Yeah, he's going to be definite wild card here. And we'll see if he's going to do that all the way down to the last lap, or if maybe when we get the 1 to go signal, if he kind of backs off a little bit. But it all depends who he's got that's his friends and teammates that are in that first pack that that he might
buying
want
him lunch tomorrow.
that's
We'll
for certain.
See. Looks like we're down to the last 10 miles here, 4 laps left. And we got 2 solid lines. We see the 4 Kenny Kibbe trying to make something happen on the top side, but no help with him. It looks like Messer's almost poked out to the lead here.
So there we see Ryan Messer doing his thing. Had 3 consecutive wins up until last week, and he's got 4 altogether this year. 1 is 6th pole, and currently the driver to beat with a 4-point lead on that guy also in that front pack, Kenny Kibbe.
That outside groove just got really connected there all of a sudden, and you can see the 4 Kenny Kibbe gets a big run, keeps that momentum, and goes to the top side of the 3. It's the 09 and John Peters as we get 3 to go here. The 09 John Peters blocking the 4.
Yeah, 3 laps to go. We'll see if anyone else can make their way into here. Brandon Uhouse in the mix. He's also another one of those trophy hunting drivers, not running the full schedule this year.
And another trophy hunter behind him, Reggie Parent's a good pusher, but he bails on him here at the last minute because he's thinking, I'm not going to get a trophy sitting second.
No, not for. But there we see the 3 that we've seen kind of up front most of the season are now up front. Ryan Messer, John Peters, and Kenny Kibbe, and with a little help from
truck coming into play a little bit here.
Yes, he is. And we got 2 laps
he has
to go.
every right to do that. He's doing nothing wrong as we come to 2 to go here at the line. Messer continues to lead, but now we got Reggie Parent pushing the 09 on the top side. Leading that top groove is the 09 of John Peters.
Yeah, we'll see if Regan Parent, we were talking about him being a good pusher right now, but he's going to want to push himself up to second spot, I would think, on that going into that final lap, and then figure out when to make a move. That's
I
probably
think
the
that's the play for
strategy to make.
sure.
Yeah, we
It's
see
going to be interesting to see.
Mario Urcolani, Jeffrey Bradway, who had been running second and third, still in the mix here and still following Regan Parent. A little bit off the deck lid of the 17 compared to 17 on the back of the 09 for sure.
That 17 jumped to the outside of the 09 there. That's going to be bad news for the 09 of Peters.
Yeah, but we still have another full lap to go here. It is far from over. We've seen drivers come from that back of the small pack and challenge for the victory. John Peters going to need some help though. Ryan Messer out
That's
front
the white
right
flag,
now.
last lap.
Yeah, Zane Farrell in the mix still. Is he going to stay up there, or is he going to back out here coming on the backstretch, get out of everyone's way? But no,
Nope,
I mean
he's staying right there. So your
he's
friends
kinda-
are where you find them here right now. Whether you're
Yeah.
teammates or not, it doesn't really matter. So it's going to be Mario pushing the 4 truck at the top, very top groove. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes. All the help is basically bailing out of the boat here for Messer. He's in bad shape.
It's every driver for themselves. Maybe not. Here comes Brandon Uhouse in the 3. I don't think he's going to have enough momentum, though. Kenny Kibbe getting the push. Mario
Kibbe to the
Urcolani
lead.
and Jeffrey Bradway.
Mario looks to the high side. Can Kenny block it? Looks like he can get there. We're wrecking
They're
behind
wrecking
him.
behind. But 3 wide here for the lead.
Looks like
And
Kenny
Kibbe.
Kibbe. Sorry, go ahead, Aaron.
Oh, no. Kenny Kibbe gets the victory. I don't know. Did we slow that down just to make it exciting?
I got a little preemptive slow motion button there. I wasn't sure if the button box was working because we didn't have any U-House Racing Designs instant replays because we didn't have any cautions. So, pretty great race though. Kenny Kibbe coming home with the win. How about Mario Urcolani missing qualifying? Hit the driveway. 6 minutes left in the qualifying session. Started shotgun on the field. Came back to finish in second. Jeffrey Bradway going to finish in third. We're going to talk to those top 3 here, Brent. But man, what a great race. I mean, honestly, with all the different strategies, textbook super speedway race.
Absolutely, and like I said, it's super interesting to see how everything converges there at the end. I think that it is super interesting to see that the 20, the 41, and the 4 pitted at very different times. 10 laps apart to get to the end of that, and Kenny had found a way to get to the front, get in the right line at the right time, and he made it happen.
And Aaron, I do believe you have caught up with a very excited winner here with Kenny Kibbe down there in Victory Lane.
Yeah, Kenny, how about that? It didn't look like before our last round of pit stops that you might be a factor, but there you were right in the mix. And tell us about how that all came into play there going into that last lap, the push that you got from those behind you and everything.
Yeah, I was just trying to do something there at the end, and I got to like right behind the leaders there, and Zane was pushing me for a bit there, and I knew that he was getting really hot temperature wise, so I kind of wanted to give him some air, but I also wanted to take whatever run I could get to the outside. So I tried it, and at first I didn't really have much help, but the leader didn't get a whole lot of help either, so it kind of evened us out. And then I was just like thinking, man, I need somebody to give me that one little run. And I saw Mario, and then somebody was in the middle coming too. And Mario got to me first, so I went up, took that run, and then just kind of stayed with him. He gave me a nice push, and then just mirror drove. I knew he was going to move down eventually to try to take the lead from me, but I just kind of watched that and then held it off to the end. That was awesome.
And how big is this for you? I know we don't really, when we talk about Talladega or Daytona, we don't talk about points racing very much. But now you've matched the number of victories that Ryan Messer has this season. You guys were separated by only 4 points going into this race. Ryan got into just a wreck coming into that checkered flag, if I remember correctly, so he finished a few spots back. I mean, when every point counts, running against someone that's been very strong this year, how big is that to get the victory here?
Yeah, I mean, normally these races for me have been kind of throwaways a lot of times. I don't have high expectations for myself at this type of racing. It always seems to like unravel at the end for me when I come to this place. So to have it go my way is really nice. And instead of being one of my worst finishes, it'll be one of my best. So that's really good. The consistency thing of just getting points and all that's good. And yeah, when we go to some other tracks, we can try to keep the momentum going. But yeah, it's huge when you can grab a boatload of points at these types of tracks, because many of the top guys, will have rough days at these races.
Yeah, and we'll give you a chance once again who got you to and from this super speedway in Alabama for tonight.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank everybody at NEP for coming together every week for these races. We've had some pretty big fields lately, so that's pretty cool. The guys in Forward Weaponry, we were always talking strategy and all that and drafting, and it kind of unraveled for most of us today, but it's always nice to have them guys to lean on. The guys in the draft that I was with all day today, Brandon and Mario, thanks to him for the push at the end. Great to see him on the podium with Bradway too. And thanks to all my friends and family that like to watch me every week.
All right, that's your victor for tonight, Kenny Kibbe. And Brent, who do you have down there on pit road?
Looks like. Hold on a second here. Sorry about that. Just get my stuff, make sure the mic's on. Looks like I got Mario here sitting in P2. The winner Pit Products NEP Super Truck Series rookie, who didn't even make it for qualifying, flew in on the jet, ran across the backstretch, got in the truck as the field was pulling away on the pit road, and parks it in P2. Mario, take us through those last few laps and what was going through your head, who you had to get behind or in front of to get to where you needed to be.
Yeah, it was pretty quick getting there, but all the guys for pushing the whole time, and that with Reggie and Jeff, we were pretty hooked up there for a while, and just them last couple laps, just trying to play it out wherever you could be. So it was good to get behind Kenny, and I just didn't want to wreck him at the end. I tried to get out there, but I got a little loose and kind of had to burp it.
Absolutely, and first podium finish of your NEP career, which is awesome to see. And the walk us through the strategy, the race. You mentioned that yourself, the 13 of Bradway, as well as the truck of Parent was you guys were hooked up for quite a while. Was that planned, or is it kind of you find your friends where your friends are where you find them sort of deal?
Yeah, a little of both. I mean, we all came down to pit together. We lost Zane on a penalty there, and we were just like, we got to do what we got to do and stay right 3 trucks together as close as we can. And we found ourselves with a little gap, and then we said we got to stay together and pit together, and we did, and it worked out. So thanks to Reggie and Jeff for that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very interesting to see all the strategies converge towards the end there, and looks like you guys kind of had the upper hand when that rolled around. So, who gets you to and from the virtual raceway every week? I'm sure there's a pilot somewhere you got to thank to get you here on time for this one.
Yeah, got to thank Amara Parker Racing, 207 brand, and Rejuvenate Canna Company, and my girl for watching. She watches every week.
Absolutely. Again, great run for you here tonight, Mario. And looks like, Aaron, you caught up with Jeffrey Bradway, the 13 Celsius sponsor machine, coming home P3.
Yeah, another strong restrictor plate race for you, Jeffrey, and finished third tonight. Podium finish, third top 5 of the year. How are you feeling?
Pretty good, pretty good. Surprised that our strategy worked as well as it did. I have to really say Reggie was the prime to our strategy. We walked through him lap by lap, making sure that we knew what we were gonna do and stay on the same sequence, and it really worked out.
Yeah, and with a finish like this, I know it's Talladega. I know it's a restrictor plate track, kind of a wild card, but how much momentum does this give you when you go into the next one?
Hopefully a lot better momentum than Bristol gave me.
So, how are you feeling going into? I'm trying to look at the schedule here to see what our next race is. I believe it is. We're going to Thompson next week, so a home state race for you, correct?
Yes, it is.
We got 2 races next week, actually, according to the schedule.
I'm feeling pretty good about Thompson. I actually, surprisingly, do prefer the short tracks. I feel a lot stronger there, as long as it's not so much wrecking each other, I guess you could say. That takes it away from you.
Yeah, so 3rd place finish, great run. Tell us who gets you to and from the racetrack here.
I'd like to thank my friends and family that keep me going here, and Tilcon for funding my habit.
All right, so that's 3rd place finisher Jeffrey Bradway. And Paul, I believe we're getting ready to wrap things up here.
Indeed, we are. Textbook super speedway race in the books here tonight for the NEP series. These guys really showing us how it's done here on the big tracks, and it's always one of my most favorite things to do is take the short track tempers and the short track personalities and let them do battle out here in the draft at Talladega. And man, from green flag pit stops to differing strategies all the way throughout the race, great drafting, great race. Great win here as well. Gonna take a couple of days off. Gonna hunker down because we got like 2.5 feet of snow here in the forecast for this weekend in southeastern Connecticut. I am not
That's
looking
just a
forward
Tuesday.
to it.
That's just a normal day.
Yeah, well, I'm just it's the first big one here, and I gotta tell you, I am really looking forward to going to Auburndale here in a couple of weeks. Actually, I'm going to where am I going before that? I'm going to Alltech in Lake City, Florida here in a couple of weeks. So really looking forward. Hopefully they turn the heat on down there in North Florida. Going to be hanging out with Wes Hogue and the gang. Hanging out with Tim Terry as well. He's going to be back on the mic here with us at VidaneTV next Tuesday. We're right back at a super speedway race. It's going to be the Vidane Racing Super Speedway 20th anniversary race at Daytona in the 87 NASCAR cars under Liberty Racing League. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. But we will catch you on the flip side here at VidaneTV, and when we do, we are going to be doing it live.